Hello again, crab-sized friend! Have you ever wondered what it's like to fight the crustiest crustaceans in the world? Hello again, crab-sized friend! Have you ever wondered what it's like to fight the crustiest crustaceans in the world? Well, let's find out. Let's see who your first opponent will be. Challenger 1, Mantis Shrimp. The peacock mantis shrimp grows up to 7 inches long, and it gets its name from its amazingly colorful appearance. But don't let this fool you, because it has one of the most devastating weapons in the entire animal kingdom.
I have many facts about this creature. You know, humans have 3 types of cone cells inside of their eyes, but these have 16 different types of cone cells.
Spends most of its time in its burrow, using its independently moving eyes and amazing vision to spot prey. Once it locks onto a target, it's ready to attack. In under 3 milliseconds, their front limbs accelerate, comparable to a bullet leaving a handgun. On the end of the limbs are clubs, delivering an estimated 1,500 newtons of force on impact. Enough to even crack aquarium glass. Oh, come on, dude! A direct hit would be an insta-kill, but you do have a small chance of survival. The strike only travels forwards, so if you dodge while he's still winding up, you can counter from the side. But that was only part 1 of the attack. The strike was so quick that it instantly vaporizes the surrounding water, creating a low-pressure zone called a cavitation bubble. A split second later, the bubble collapses violently, unleashing a destructive shockwave. The shockwave stuns you, letting the mantis shrimp reload and land a direct hit this time. Some species of mantis shrimp even come equipped with spears instead, so it's stabby stabby instead of bonk. Into the collection you go! Before we get into the 12 other crustaceans on this list, let's learn some crusty lore first.
Ooh.
Crustaceans are a pretty diverse group, including crabs, shrimps, lobsters, and way more. But they all have these features in common. 2 main body segments, jointed legs, exoskeleton armor made of tough materials like chitin and calcium carbonate, and they usually come with specialized limbs, like claws, clubs, hooks, feathery tentacle thingies, literal cannons. We'll get to that later though. The typical life cycle of a crustacean can be broken up into 4 main stages. Number 1, the egg stage. Female crustaceans can lay hundreds to thousands of eggs at a time. Most attach the eggs to their abdomens and carry them around, but some just fart them into the sea. Be free. Number 2, the larval stage. When an egg hatches, a larva emerges. At first, they look like these little alien thingies, floating around and feeding on microscopic stuff. Most of the population is eaten by predators at this point, but the lucky ones continue feeding and molting, till they slowly lose their swimmy larva parts and start growing more crusty features like legs and claws. Number 3, the juvenile stage. The crustacean now looks like a mini adult. Their exoskeletons harden a lot more as they continue to molt to get bigger, and the process is pretty interesting. First, the crustacean reabsorbs some minerals from its old exoskeleton, weakening it significantly. It then reuses those minerals to form a new, softer exoskeleton underneath. Then it absorbs a bunch of water, causing it to expand. The internal pressure cracks the outer shell, allowing the crustacean to pull itself out. A bonus is that many crustaceans can regrow lost limbs during the molting process too. Number 4, the adult stage. At this point, the crustacean has reached full maturity. Some species stop molting here, but others like lobsters continue molting indefinitely. Now all their specialized appendages are fully developed and ready to fight. Challenger 2. Hermit crab. These little guys are the cutest crustaceans on the list, growing anywhere between 0.4 inches and 6 inches. Although Lil Hermie here isn't much of a fighter, his defense stat is super high thanks to his iconic shell, which protects his soft abdomen. And he also has 1 big claw, which he can use to plug the entrance when he's inside. But as time goes on, they eventually outgrow their shells, and will need to find a new one. When a shell appears, hermit crabs will line up in order from largest to smallest. The biggest boy takes the new shell, the next in line takes his old one, the next crab takes that one, and so on. This is called a vacancy chain. They can end up with all sorts of unique shells too. Some are even decorated with sea anemones. Some are even decorated with sea anemones, which adds bonus defense points by stinging predators when they get too close. But at the end of the day, they're quite slow because they have to lug their entire house around, and leaving it isn't usually a good idea. I hate to say it, but it looks like you've won the fight.
Oh, it's fair. After you.
Challenger 3. Japanese spider crab. The Japanese spider crab has the largest leg span of any crustacean, reaching nearly 4 meters long. Basically the length of a small car. But these long legs are actually very prone to injury. In fact, a study found that 75% of spider crabs surveyed were missing at least one limb. At least. Hey. Well, luckily they can grow them back on the next molt. Juvenile crabs often stick kelp or sponges onto their shells to help disguise them from predators. But once fully grown, very few want to mess with them. Their massive leg span helps keep threats away, and their spiny exoskeleton makes them very uncomfortable to bite. Despite being massive, their 2 front claws are pretty small, and are just used for gently picking and pulling apart soft prey. Oh? Challenger 4. Barnacles. They might just look like stubs, sticking to rocks, or your boat, or your forehead, but barnacles are actually crustaceans. I just find it crazy how these two guys are in the same group. The acorn barnacle is the most common one, and there's actually a whole animal inside. It checks off all the crustacean boxes. A strong plated exoskeleton, jointed limbs, a segmented body all stuffed in here, and so on. They feed by sticking their legs out, which act as feathery nets to catch plankton and organic matter. They even have the same life cycle as other crustaceans, starting out as a free-floating larva. When it finds a surface it wants to stick to, it literally rocks up and glues its face permanently to it. This glue kinda acts like a quick-setting cement that cures underwater. It's even been used as inspiration for developing medical adhesives. So I guess right now you're not in danger, you're just being used as a home base. Anyways, there's other cool barnacles to talk about, so barnacle speed round. The giant acorn barnacle grows up to 6 inches in diameter and 12 inches in height. You're lucky I didn't make you wear that one. The goose barnacle looks like goose. The whale barnacle hitchhikes across entire oceans embedded in the skin of a whale. And the craziest for last, the crab hacker barnacle, which is a parasitic species that spreads through their host's body like roots, absorbing nutrients from them and literally hijacking their nervous system to control their behavior. The crab carries around the barnacle's eggs until they're eventually brainwashed to climb a rock and release them from the top. Congrats on the hat, looks great on ya.
Oh, cool.
Challenger 5. Boxer crab.
Oh.
The boxer crab is quite tiny, only spanning about 1 inch long, and it gets its name because it roams around with boxing gloves on its claws. These gloves are actually sea anemone, which have microscopic stinging cells called nematocysts. When triggered, these fire like tiny harpoons, injecting neurotoxins that can paralyze smaller animals or cause irritation in larger ones. But what if a crab loses its gloves? Or what if the anemone just dies? Well, some scientists conducted a study to investigate that. They kidnapped 2 boxer crabs and took the gloves away from one. The crabs ended up getting into a fight, and the gloveless crab would steal one from the other. Then, when both crabs only had 1 glove, it was observed that they would rip them in half, basically cloning the anemone, so they each had 2 gloves again. Everyone was happy, except you. They're also known as pom-pom crabs because they look like cheerleaders.
Yeah, that was what I was saying.
Challenger 6.
Oh wait, I know this one. It's an isopod.
Giant isopod.
Did I
If you took a trip down to the deep, dark seafloor, you might come across the giant isopod, the Roomba of the sea. They can grow up to 20 inches long, and they look like aliens. A tough segmented exoskeleton, 7 pairs of legs, and large compound eyes adapted to the darkness. An isopod's main weak point is their soft underside. But it's very hard to get to because when threatened, they immediately curl into a ball. The ultimate defensive maneuver. They're mainly scavengers, using their hooked front legs and strong mandibles to slowly chow on the remains of whatever they can find. Fish carcasses, live prey if it's slow enough, and even poop. If they happen to come across something huge like a dead whale, they can gorge themselves until they're too fat to move. But if they can't find anything, they can survive for years without any food. Isopods also come in terrestrial variants, like the pillbugs you can find in your garden, or whatever you want to call them. Slaters, woodlice, roly-polies, witchy boys. Challenge 7. Pistol shrimp. The pistol shrimp grows to about 2 inches long. It has one normal spindly-looking claw that's used for handling food and digging. And it has another claw that's a literal biological cannon. It's made of 2 parts, a hammer-like plunger on one finger and a socket-like structure on the other. To load the cannon, the shrimp pulls back on the hammer, stretching it till it's loaded like a spring. The only drawback, however, is that the cannon has very short range, and the shrimp has pretty poor eyesight too. Here, I'll give you a hand. When the shrimp wants to fire, it releases the latch, and the hammer slams down into the socket. This motion forces all the water out like a high-speed jet, creating a cavitation bubble. Just like the mantis shrimp. The shockwave impact can kill or stun prey.
And it's even hotter than the surface of the sun.
The sound of the blast can reach up to 210 decibels underwater, making it one of the loudest biological sounds ever recorded. That's comparable to the sound of a gunshot. Challenger 8. Krill. Krill grow to a whopping size of... Well, that was basically the life of every krill summarized. I guess that's your second win today. Well done!
Oh.
I can't believe you actually won 2 times today. Ah, there you are. Challenger 9. Coconut crab. Coconut crabs are the largest land arthropods on Earth. Their legs can span up to 1 meter long. But he wasn't always this size. In fact, he actually started his life looking like this. Welcome back, Lil Hermie. That's right, coconut crabs are a species of hermit crab, and when they're tiny juveniles, they roam around with shells on their back. But after his defeat, Lil Hermie didn't give up. He continued to grow and molt, and his soft abdomen began to harden, to the point where he didn't need a shell for protection anymore, patiently waiting for his day of revenge. That day is today, by the way. Coconut crabs get their name from their ability to climb trees, and literally crush coconuts with their insane claw strength. That's an estimated force of 3,300 newtons. That's almost enough to snap the average human arm. They're also aggressive scavengers, and tear apart carrion like it's made of paper. And if given the chance, they even grab sleeping birds straight out of their nests.
Aww.
I'm proud of you, Lil Hermie. You've come such a long way. Challenger 10. European lobster. European lobsters grow to about 2 feet long. They hide in rock crevices during the day, coming out at night to forage and hunt. But their coolest ability is that they dual wield. They have 2 specialized claws. A crusher claw, which is thick and strong for breaking shells, and a cutter claw, thin and sharp for slicing up prey. The main feature that separates these guys from crabs is that they've evolved to keep their long, muscular tails. When threatened, the lobster is able to launch itself backwards and burst with quick tail flips. They also don't seem to slow down or weaken over time. In most animals, including humans, the ends of DNA degrade and shorten, which contributes to aging. But lobsters have a special enzyme called telomerase, which can prevent this by repairing those ends. Meaning this grandpa lobster can kick your butt just as easily as these youngins. Challenger 11. Fiddler crab. The fiddler crab is typically found on mudflats. They may be small, only coming in at an inch long, but they pack a big punch. Just one. The males have a giant oversized claw that grows up to half their total body length, but they mainly use it for attracting females. As soon as they spot a potential mate, they all start fiddling their claws synchronously. The crab with the biggest fiddle and the best fiddling technique wins. This can lead to crabs fighting each other in fiddle duels, which often ends up with their fiddles falling off. It's alright though, you can try again after your next molt, little guy. In reality though, these oversized claws are mostly for display. They can pinch, but not very strongly. But maybe waving a big claw around all the time isn't the best idea. What else can you find in mudflats? Challenger